Guys, we just got a major update. Notre Dame, what a job getting Sam Hartman, the graduate transfer QB from Wake Forest. Very likely the top transfer quarterback on the market when they end up grading him because he's not in the system right now. This just happened. And guys, I do want to go over the biggest winners of the early transfer period. Personally, I think they need to completely redo it. You should open the transfer portal window after the bowl games. I understand some of these kids want to get to their new campus before the winter practices or whatever, but guys, it's a complete joke. You've got these kids entering the portal and then committing to another school while they're playing in their bowl game. Why don't we just wait until all the games are done? We have the first transfer portal window in late January, and we have the second portal window early in the summer. That would be my proposal, but we do have a number of teams stacking talent and really utilizing the transfer portal to their advantage. So let's take a look at the ratings right now. This is just according to one site. It's very hard to find really accurate ratings because a lot of these kids are rated so differently when you look at the different recruiting sites, and there's no composite which would combine all of the rankings in terms of the transfer portal. But either way, you can see Florida State. Guys, we're going to go over what Florida State has done, but I'm at the point with Florida State and what they return. They're going to be a preseason top 10 team next year. They are. Michigan at number 2, they've really utilized the portal instead of trying to, get 5 stars or top 100 kids. They're more looking for team-first oriented players, not going with the NIL, and really utilizing the portal to find veteran leaders who are also plug-and-play guys. They can come in that have experience. Colorado, of course, they got 13 commits. We knew they were going to be on here with Deion Sanders there. Now, how about UCLA? A lot of 3 stars. I think that class is more based on the total number of commits. Personally, I really like what USC is doing, especially on defense. Arizona State practically got an entire team. No clue what's happening there. 18 transfer portal kids. Oregon, they got a really impressive offensive, I think it's an offensive tackle. It was either them or Ohio State, and they got him from Rhode Island. Washington getting a few 4 stars. They're doing a good job. LSU getting significant elite players. You can see their overall average is the best of the top 10. And then Oklahoma State, they've gotten a few guys, but they've also lost some. So just looking at these classes, certainly Michigan doing a great job. They get the linebacker from Nebraska. They get a really good interior offensive guard from Arizona State. You lose Eric All. Of course, there's issues with Eric All, like bashing the Michigan program. They get an edge rusher from Coastal Carolina, solid 4-star. Another tight end from Indiana. So a really good job here by Michigan to fill some different needs. And they certainly signed a top class. Again, it's the interesting strategy where they're looking more towards the portal than necessarily trying to chase the top 100 recruits who are going to very likely want some type of NIL package. Next, looking at Florida State. Really, really good job by Florida State. They get the tight end from South Carolina. I believe he's the number 1 overall tight end in the portal. How about a defensive lineman from Western Michigan who was re-ranked as a 93 overall 4-star? An offensive tackle from UTEP who I know had a lot of suitors. They get a tight end from Shorter, who I think is like some Division II school. A good defensive lineman from Miami. And you can see another interior offensive guard. So Florida State, guys, I think with what they return, their situation with Devin Travis, you're looking at a top 10 preseason AP team next year. It is impressive the way they finished this year. They need to beat Oklahoma in the bowl game to really continue this momentum, but they've done a really good job so far. How about Kentucky? So Kentucky was actually not inside the top 10, but getting Devin Leary and the cornerback Hardaway from Cincinnati, who could be a shutdown type corner, The only reason he transferred from there was mainly due to the Luke Fickell situation leaving Cincinnati. Devin Leary, a crown jewel recruit. He's ready to come in and be probably a top 3 or top 4 quarterback in the SEC. If you are Kentucky, you lose Will Levis, who's very likely going to be a top 5, top 10 overall pick. And Devin Leary really could maybe even be a first-round pick if he plays well. And then think of the recruiting leverage you have if you're Kentucky, if you have potential back-to-back first-round picks in Will Levis and Devin Leary. That's great in terms of recruiting future quarterbacks. They also get a solid running back from Vanderbilt and some depth along the offensive line and offensive tackle there as well. So I would say, I know Kentucky isn't one of the higher ranked classes, but it's kind of like Notre Dame. I mean, this is when you get a top quarterback like Notre Dame getting Sam Hartman, who's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, you're immediately vaulted to being one of the best teams. And this is really what the transfer portal should be about. If you are a team that has a quarterback need, you see a top quarterback on the market, instead of having to develop a first-year starting quarterback and really work through all those annoying first-year inexperienced QB problems, you go out and get an established top quarterback of the ACC. What a home run that is by Kentucky. A lot of people think Devin Leary, I mean, it's kind of a lateral move going from NC State to Kentucky, but I'm guessing Devin Leary wanted to go to the SEC and prove himself. USC does a really good job getting a few key defenders. So they got three defensive players here, including one of the top cornerbacks from I'm surprised a cornerback from Arizona graded out that well. If you know anything about how bad Arizona's defense is, it is horrible. But either way, you can see there, Mason Cobb, one of the top linebackers in the portal, goes from Oklahoma State to USC. They also got a top receiver from Arizona, Singer. So they got 2 of Arizona's best players, and then they signed a defensive lineman also from Arizona. So they're just raiding Arizona. And I have to say, it's probably not a good strategy. Arizona had a horrifically bad defense, but maybe those are 2 of the better players. I don't know. But either way, I like that USC is really using the portal to address the major hole that is their defense. With USC next year, we know the receivers are going to be fine. You would expect Mario Williams to step up. You've got other guys there. You bring this transfer portal kid Singer in. Yes, you lose Jordan Addison, but obviously you retain Caleb Williams. It's going to come down to the defense. Can Corey Foreman, the former number 1 overall player, step up as a junior and really live up to the hype there? Then taking a look at Colorado, obviously, Travis Hunter, the number 1 overall player, the only 5-star rated in terms of the portal. He ends up going there with Deion Sanders. They also get Deion Sanders' kid, the QB from Jackson State, and then Jimmy Horn Jr. from South Florida, a really solid receiver rated as a 90 overall there. So I would say Colorado, you're looking right now, they're definitely going to be improved. They were 1-11. I would say maybe a possible bowl team, maybe a 5 or a 6 win team depending on their schedule, but I know the Pac-12 is going to be an absolute gauntlet this coming year. And here's the update right now on Sam Hartman. So they've rated him a 94, it looks like. And obviously he is going to Notre Dame, so that is a big decision there for Notre Dame. They've got the huge game next year early in the season against Ohio State, so that is a major get. How about this kid? I didn't realize this kid was ranked that high, 93 in high school, Brady Allen. One other thing to note, how about the Hudson Card situation going to Purdue? That's a major get for Purdue. I'm surprised Hudson Card is going there. We'll have to see if they're able to. I don't know if Charlie Jones, the little receiver, is going to be back with them. I know he played really well, but that's a big pickup for Purdue after losing their head coach. And really, the situation with Purdue is very sad because they're like 15-point underdogs to LSU. Aiden O'Connell isn't playing. Jeff Brom left. It's not a good situation there. So once again, UCLA, I'd have to look at their roster. They've added some players, things like that. I think mostly 3 stars, but USC has done a really good job in the portal so far. Oregon, they're using a bunch of Nike money right now to try and really juice up that program. I think the Pac-12 is just going to eat itself next year. It's going to be crazy good with all of the teams returning the quarterbacks. I'm surprised Bo Nix came back. I don't see. I'm not sure what Bo Nix is doing, guys. And it's nothing against the kid. I don't know who's advising him. Why would you, at that age where you're already older and Hendon Hooker's having a major issue in terms of NFL scouts due to his age being what it is, you need to strike while the iron's hot. Bo Nix would have been a third-round pick. I can tell you that right now. Maybe if he interviews well, even a second-round pick. You just had your best season. He must have gotten a bunch of Nike money or something, because that is not... I just don't know who is advising some of these kids. It's just not a smart decision. You just had the best season you've had. You're already being mocked in third rounds. Unless you're getting $5 million from Nike, through the, Oregon boosters, I don't see that. I was shocked when it was announced that Bo Nix was coming back. Shocked. But when it comes to the top schools, guys, Kentucky, Notre Dame, both finding legitimate top quarterbacks, doing a really good job. Devin Leary, Sam Hartman, they're going to both be good. And that's really how the transfer portal should be utilized. So I just wanted to go over some. Obviously we've got a lot of time left in terms of the transfer portal. There's going to be a lot of transfers coming out from Michigan, from Ohio State, and from Georgia in particular. All those teams being in the playoff, the kids are not going to transfer out, even if they're not getting any playing time right now. They're going to wait for the season end. TCU, they've done a decent job. I know they've gotten a few receivers. Ole Miss as well. Ole Miss has gotten, they've done a good job. I know they got like a former 5-star receiver from Texas A&M. So there's a lot of teams getting more talent and trying to utilize the portal to really benefit their team and plug and play position of need, things like that. So guys, that is going to do it for this little transfer portal update. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.